Imagine Harden, Kawhi, and Brook Lopez trying to chase SGA up and down the court. He's gonna run them boys out the gym. What's good, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Wrong vs. Right. I'm your host, Jay. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe below and hit that button. Today we're filming from lovely Bermuda, and today we're talking about the Los Angeles Clippers, talk about the additions they made, what we expect them to do in the playoffs, and the one thing they missed this offseason that I think is going to come back and haunt them. So look, the Clippers' key additions this offseason were Bradley Beal, John Collins, Chris Paul, Brook Lopez. Now look, they lost Norman Powell, so replacing Norman Powell with Bradley Beal, that's actually not a bad replacement. They essentially do the same thing. They're scoring options, they can shoot the ball. Norman Powell's a better defender at this stage in his career, but Bradley Beal and Norman Powell, they're very similar, and they got Bradley Beal for a pretty cheap contract. So I don't think that's actually a bad move, getting Bradley Beal. John Collins, I think that's another good pickup. He's a solid four-man, physical, athletic, and I think he's gonna play well with James Harden, especially on the pick and roll, out in the fast break. Give them a big thumbs up on that one as well. Chris Paul. Now look, Chris Paul is one of the best point guards of all time. You can argue with the wall about that. Even at 40 years old, he's a solid playmaker. He knows how to play the game. He plays at his own pace. He doesn't get sped up. He can control the offense, control the pace of the game, run and pick and roll with guys like John Collins. He's also a guy that can close out a game for you. We know some guys disappear in the biggest moments on that team. And they also added Brook Lopez. Now, Brook Lopez is in the later stages of his career, but he's a pick and pop threat, and he's 7'2", 7'3", so he's a shot blocker. He's a deterrent at the rim, and he's gonna be your backup big man to Ivica Zubac. So he's a solid pickup. With the Clippers, it always comes down to the playoffs. Can this team get over the hump? They just always fall short in the playoffs. And last season, the one season that Kawhi is actually available in the playoffs, James Harden didn't show up in Game 7. That was a huge disappointment, and it's like the story of his career. He does great in the regular season, James Harden. James Harden was a monster in the regular season. Had an all-star level showing last season. But then in the playoffs, 7 points or 9 points in Game 7, unacceptable, man. I think guys like Bradley Beal will step up in the playoffs. I think Chris Paul is also going to step up as well, as much as he can do, at 40 years old. So I think they're going into the season with a better roster, actually. But it remains to be seen, can Harden perform in the playoffs the same way that he does in the regular season? Can he step up to the plate and put the team on his back when Kawhi Leonard is getting double team, triple team, doing everything physically possible to try and put his team in a winning position? He needs help. Can Harden step up and be the help that Kawhi Leonard needs? And then lastly, this is the one thing where the Clippers just completely fell short on this offseason. The one thing that the Clippers messed up on this offseason is they are entirely too dependent on players in the later stages of their career. Kawhi Leonard, who knows if he's going to be healthy in the playoffs? Bradley Beal, he goes out with back stiffness every 5 games, it seems like. The Clippers training staff is going to be so busy this season. They're going to have all these ice baths, all these MRIs done, or knee problem. James Harden, I actually can't get on James Harden. He's pretty durable. But Brook Lopez, Chris Paul at 40 years old. Ironically enough, Chris Paul at 40 years old played the majority, if not all of last season for the Spurs. So I have to give him his credit. I can't even hate on Chris Paul. So those guys I just named, the Clippers are dependent on them being healthy for the success of them as a whole. If even one of those guys goes out, I don't see them getting past the OKC Thunder. Really imagine the Clippers taking on the OKC Thunder. The Thunder will be running up and down the court while the Clippers are trying to get back on D. Imagine Harden, Kawhi, and Brook Lopez trying to chase SGA up and down the court. He's gonna run them boys out the gym. Also guys, quick plug to my clothing brand Trash Talker. Just came out some new shorts. We got them in orange, purple, and red. I think you guys will really like them. Be sure to go check those out at trashtalkershop.com. I'll put the link in my description. Now back to the video. But guys, in all seriousness, I don't know how this roster is gonna sustain an 82-game season. How are they gonna stay healthy enough to even compete in the playoffs at a high level against the best teams in the West? The Thunder, the Rockets, the Nuggets. I think the Clippers will be a good regular season team, but in the playoffs, I just think they're going to get burnt out. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Everybody can't be wrong. Everybody can't be right. I'm out.